Wow, what an exciting time it is right now. Spring is imminent and things are coming to life again. This is where I personally feel like I come to life too. And really what I think is the new year, the new seasons. There's so much excitement in the air for me at this time of year. You can see the bulbs coming to life and flowering and the nature loving them. The sun is peeking through and the days are becoming so much longer. And for me, this is the time where I put in a lot of investment into my garden, knowing that the months to come, I'll be able to reap the rewards. And I really want this video today to be one of motivation that inspires you to do the same. So in today's video, I've got some exciting jobs that I've been doing over the last few weeks to get my garden ready. We're going to be doing everything from showing you guys how you can turn your lawn into a farm. I'm also going to show you how to inoculate logs so you can have delicious mushrooms growing in your garden for the next 7 years. Plus so much more. Oh my gosh guys, I cannot express to you how thankful and grateful I am for this bit of sun. I feel like over the last few winter months I've been deprived of this glorious resource and worldly amazing thing. I love the sun, I love it on my skin, and so does the garden. All the bulbs that I planted end of last year are now popping up. Things like the crocuses, the tulips are coming up, the snowballs, and my beautiful daffodils. Daffodils are the symbol of my country, Wales, and they are also my favourite flower. They represent rebirth and a new life, and that's what spring is all about for me. So it's so lovely to see them. And when you give nature what it needs, for example, in this case, just planting some bulbs simply, it took me a few minutes, nature will thank you. I've already been seeing bees and bumblebees and all kinds of insects loving the flowers when there's not actually a huge amount available at this time of year. Talking of breathing new life into my garden, I laid some new pathways a few weeks ago, starting in my greenhouse. Oh, this makes me so happy. A fresh delivery of beautiful wood chip. My goal in life, I think, is to have an endless pile of wood chip. For that, I need to get a wood chipper. But until I do, I'll speak to my local tree surgeon and he's grateful to dump it somewhere. Now, right now in the garden, it's looking very miserable. It's winter, of course, but I think after a good layer of wood chip on the pathways, particularly in the greenhouse, it will liven things up and make it feel a little bit more neater for me. So that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Let's get some wood chip in the greenhouse. Whew. One sec, quick rest. I think it's time for a cup of tea. Every load, you earn a cup of tea. I think that is the rule of grafting. A wheelbarrow, a cup of tea. And you have to admire the work. You just need to look for like half an hour. That's what builders do. That is the greenhouse pretty much done. Now I just need to do wood chip or re-wood chip all of this. Another tea break, another 10 tea breaks I deserve after all this hard work.
I'm definitely like bits of palm right now.
Cut back to me in 2 weeks when I've done it. So I dropped out of school at age just 16 to become a chef. I had no plan B whatsoever, just this desire to work with food, work in the kitchens, because that's where I felt I belonged. And here I am years later, holding something that was just a thought that has become reality now. This is my new book, plant to plate. It's moments like this that remind me our thoughts shape our reality. What we nurture in our minds, our dreams, our skills, our intentions will grow. This book is a way of seeing food differently, a way of working with nature and not against it. Inside you'll learn not only how to cook, but my growing tips, fermentation, foraging, herbalism, preservations, stories from my homestead, and how to truly understand ingredients. So it will mean the absolute world to me if you can support me on this journey by ordering the book. You can pre-order it now and it's out end of May, early June. So please grab a copy. Hopefully it will transform your cooking and your connection to food. Thank you. Well, it's been a few weeks and many wheelbarrows later, but I managed to complete the pathway and I'm so happy with it. It's just brought the garden back to life. I really like wood chip. In fact, I absolutely love wood chip. It's the best thing ever, in my opinion. There's a few reasons why I like it. Firstly, it's so cheap and affordable to create a nice decorative path. It's totally natural, so the earth, the bugs, the creepy crawlies and critters, they love it too. And over time it sort of breaks down and adds nutrients to the soil beneath it, and all of the roots of the veg and everything that I have growing in all the beds surrounding the pathways will then sort of root into the wood chip pathways underneath as well. So there's so much life there, so much fertility. So if you want to create a pathway in your garden and you don't want to spend a load of money, speak to your local tree surgeon. They can't thank you enough for taking loads off them because they need to get rid of it. So make the most of that resource. It's brilliant. Also, a few weeks back, and pretty much you can do this any time of year. It's not a job just for winter. I became an actual farmer now. I've always wanted to be a farmer. Well, in the last few years I've wanted to be a farmer, but I've become a farmer in a different sense, a farmer of worms. That's right, I created my own worm farm, and it's something that I'm super happy to finally have here at my homestead. Let me show you how I did it. Hey wormies, how you doing today? It's a beautiful day to be alive. I know this is a bit weird and a bit crazy, but it's not weird in the gardening world. And oh man, if you would have told me 4 or 5 years ago that I would be so excited by my new worm farm, I would have thought you'd gone absolutely nuts. I was a city boy living in the city, so disconnected from the natural world, and here I am now giving worms a beautiful home, and in return they're going to create the most incredible compost for me. Here you go, little wormies, here's your new home. I'm going to feed you some lovely food, I promise. So their first feed is going to be some kitchen scraps donated by my mum and dad from their kitchen. Don't want any lemons or any onions or any citrus going in here, so just veg basically, and no cooked food because it will attract mice and rats and things like that. The next stage is to put some homemade compost, just some chunky stuff on top of this to keep them warm. And then I got a sheet of muslin to put over the top. That will protect them, that will keep them warm, and they should be happy here, I think. So this is just some half broken down compost. The worms will do the rest of the work, and it's full of different microbes and different bits of organic matter that they should enjoy, I hope. What they create is something called worm castings, essentially is worm poop, and this really light and airy compost essentially is amazing for use in the garden, particularly for starting off plants, so germinating seeds within it. So in a few months' time I'll harvest their worm castings and keep feeding them nutritious, delicious scraps from my kitchen and my garden, and they will in return give me those amazing castings for the garden. Black gold. Yes, that is how I built it, and I'm very proud of Worm City. But another thing I've done up here in my terrace garden recently, and you can still do it now. If you love berries and you always buy berries from the supermarket, blueberries, black currants, raspberries, You've got to start growing some berries. I failed at this. I should have put these into the ground the first season of being here on my homestead, because you don't have to do much maintenance to these plants. You don't have to sow seeds each year. Every year they'll keep pumping out fruit without much maintenance. So I failed at that. I should have done it way sooner. And I love berries. My girlfriend loves berries. So we need to be growing way more than I have done in the past. So at the top, they are planted quite close together, but I planted in the ground some gooseberries, some raspberries, black currants, a few different types of raspberries as well. And I dotted them all around the garden because I just can't have enough. And we're going to pick so much hopefully this year that I end up freezing them. So don't forget, now you can get some raspberries and berries and all sorts into the ground. And don't forget to do it like I did. Come on, grow well. Do you know the one thing that I've really appreciated and gained from growing food and being in the garden is to be okay with not having instant results. And it teaches you patience. I think nowadays we live in a world that is always, we want like instant gratification for doing something. But in the garden, you know, something may take weeks or months to lead to the rewards. And I think a lot of the time we lack the motivation, but growing has given me the purpose to strive for the best version of me and the garden. So you do have to force yourself some days. Oh, I don't really fancy going out in the garden, it's cold, but I need to sow my seeds. And if you don't sow your seeds, you're not going to get the food in the future. So what I've tried to do is sow something every single day. And the results of doing that are great so far already. Now look, I've got loads of little seedlings coming up, and some things that I've never ever grown before, including this. It's called gailan, or Chinese broccoli. I had it at a restaurant, it was unbelievable, so I ordered the seeds and I'm growing that now. I've got loads of different leeks and spring onions and peas and turnips and onions, and it's all coming to life. I even have my chilies, tomatoes and aubergines that I sowed recently growing inside my house right now, just because of that extra warmth inside will do the plants really good and give them a good start before they eventually come out into here, because the evenings are still quite cold here. But another thing that I want to get in the ground now that will fill me with so much joy and delight when they eventually spring into life are lilies. Last year I grew quite a few lilies, and it's just so beautiful to see that flower in all its glory, and it doesn't feel real. It's so perfect looking, it doesn't feel real. So I want more of them in my garden. So I've got some lily bulbs and I'll show you how to plant them now. Lily bulbs look so strange, weird things. But I got these from my local garden centre, and I'm going to plant them in the ground now. I can't wait to see them come up. I'm going to follow a kind of technique that my friend and master gardener Charles Dowding taught me. He always has flowers at the edge of his vegetable beds, and they add beautiful colour. They'll hopefully invite a load of lovely pollinators and insects to the area and create a nice habitat for your veg to thrive, but also make each bed look really beautiful. So I planted the bulbs about 5 inches deep, and this will eventually be a bed full of beautiful vegetables, and now hopefully some amazing lilies. So I've got a nice little area here of grass that I have to mow quite often, but it could be turned into a very abundant area of space that I grow flowers, food, and so much more in. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you guys, maybe you're new to growing food, or maybe you don't know how incredibly easy it is to start a new bed or turn your lawn, your front or back lawn, into a growing space. Step number 1 is to start hoarding cardboard. Ask friends and family to collect theirs and give it to you. It's priceless in the garden. You can even go to furniture stores and ask them if they've got any spare boxes. You just need to remove the sellotape. So there's no digging involved in this process whatsoever, so it makes it easy for everyone. And this no-dig method of growing has been made famous by my friend Charles Dowding. He's a no-dig gardener for over 40 years. And the reason why so many others use the no-dig method is because it doesn't disrupt the soil beneath, keeping everything intact keeping all that goodness in. It will slow down weeds, and also drainage and fertility of the soil will be intact. I'm going to lay my cardboard out in the shape of the bed that I want, making sure that no grass is exposed to the light. So there's a reason why I've chosen this particular location. Is because when I look out my kitchen window, I see this area. So I thought if it was full of life, if it wasn't just grass, it would be beautiful. But you can determine whatever shape you like with this method. That's what I love so much about it. You can do a rectangular bed, or you could do spirals and curves. You just need to be creative and just make sure that the cardboard is covering the grass properly. And then over time it will break down, add nutrients to the soil, and the compost going on top is the next stage. But just make sure that the cardboard has no sellotape or hasn't got any heavy inks within it. We want about 4 or 3 inches of really good compost going on top of this. Now the next question people probably ask a lot is, where do you get compost from? Well, yes, you can go to your garden centre and buy compost, and you can get some good stuff, but it is quite pricey. So I recommend going to your local council and asking if they have any green waste compost, and they can sell it to you in bulk. But if you're doing a small bed like this, you will only need a few bags to cover it. Alternatively, I can't recommend enough making your own compost at home like I do. So this is actually ready to plant into right away. That's how quick you can turn your lawn into a place where you can grow food. I could sow some seeds directly, or I could plant some grown plants into it. What I will do though is let this settle a little bit. I'll probably need to put another inch of compost on top of this until I'm really happy with the sort of amount or the depth of the soil. But right now already there's like at least 3 or 4 inches here, but over time, and if it rains as well, that's going to settle it down a little bit. And I may think about putting an edge around this too at one stage, but as I said, it's that easy. You could get grown in this right away. Oh, and one more thing. The great thing about this technique, the no-dig technique, is that over time, the roots won't just be rooting into your compost that you put on top. They'll be going into the actual soil beneath, unlocking the nutrients that are locked in there in the clay soil like mine here. And then all you have to do each year is just add a fresh inch of compost on top. Really good stuff to add fertility to the soil. And you do that about winter time. So that's how simple it is to start your own bed, turning grass into so much potential here. I can literally plant whatever I want in this space. And I know it's only small and looks a bit rustic now, but give it a few weeks to months, you will see all kinds of colourful abundance in this bed. So I'll keep you updated with what I grow in this small space. I may even put a border around it, maybe some logs or some kind of raised edge. It could be bricks, it could be something reclaimed. Right now I'm going to just plant in my remaining lily bulbs into this, and I can't wait to be able to look out of my kitchen window at this thriving, beautiful bed with the lilies in it too. All right, so the next winter job is to clone this beautiful rosemary. This rosemary is quite prolific as well. It just grows and grows and grows here. It's found a happy home. So it's so easy to do rosemary apparently. I've not done it before, but essentially you just take some cuttings and you dip the sprigs into some cinnamon, which is antimicrobial, and will just help the roots take to the new soil. Well, I think this is giving me new recipe ideas as well. Rosemary and cinnamon could be a flavour combination that I start experimenting with, because it smells great right now. This is special cinnamon as well from Vietnam that my friend's non-living got, and it's the best stuff. I could literally do a cinnamon challenge for fun with this, but it's going to work great as a rooting compound and keep this sort of healthy, and it should take root in a few weeks. A few weeks later, my rosemary is still going strong. It looks fairly healthy. There's no sign of roots beneath the tray at the minute, but as soon as I start seeing roots, this will be ready to plant out, and I would have recreated a load of rosemary. So get on that. It's a really good way of getting free plants without having to go down to your garden centre and buy it. You can just recreate your own at home. Another thing that just grows without you having to do very much, and it just keeps on pumping out food each year, and something I always forget about, and I just come along and I've realised that there's loads left in the ground, is Jerusalem artichoke. They're also called sunchokes in certain parts of the world. So a few weeks back I planted a load of that down the side of my greenhouse, and it also has a beautiful flower. That's actually another artichoke there, that's a globe artichoke. They grow above ground like a beautiful flower. These grow underground like a hard worker they are. Hard to peel, but good to taste. So I'm just spacing these about 9 inches apart. They'll multiply and multiply and multiply, and also create nice flowers. I love gardening, even in the winter. Last couple going in. Job well done. So that's the sunchokes. I really recommend growing them. They make a delicious soup, and I used to have to peel loads of them when I was in the professional kitchen. So I have a love-hate relationship with them. But not only do they have the delicious tuber, they also have that lovely flower. Anyway, the reason why I'm stood next to these beautiful logs, these are oak logs that I got from a local tree surgeon, is because I'm going to start growing mushrooms outside. I'm going to inoculate these logs, and they hopefully will produce mushrooms, some of the most delicious mushrooms in the world, for the next 7 years. So what I need to do first is get my logs together, get my mushroom log inoculating station set up, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. Oh, it's getting a bit chilly now. Still a sign to say that we're not quite in the warmer months yet, but this is a great time to get some logs inoculated with some delicious mushrooms. What I'm going to do first is drill some holes a few inches apart throughout these logs. I cannot not do that when I pick up a drill. And then later I will knock some inoculated wooden dowels into each one of those holes. So the reason why these logs need to be fresh is so that there's no other fungus or bacteria that will compete with the mycelium that we're introducing to these logs. So now that I've drilled my holes, it's now time to get my inoculated dowels. These are just little wooden dowels that have been inoculated with the mushroom spawn. This is blue-grey oyster mushroom spawn, one of my favourite kinds of mushrooms. So I'm basically going to tap these into each of those holes that I've created in these logs with my hammer, and then I'll seal them over with some melted wax. All right, so fingers crossed, we've just implanted these logs with some delicious mushroom mycelium, and they will be fruitful. Whenever I plant anything in the ground, I say a little mental manifestation to hopefully bring beautiful harvests, and I'm doing the same with these lovely logs. Now these need to be in a shaded position. Just think of a woodland, you know, where mushrooms would grow in a woodland, so put them somewhere shaded. I'm just going to tuck them behind my compost heap by here that gets barely any sun for the time being until I find a more permanent home for all my logs. But I have a lot more logs to do, and I don't just have oyster mushrooms to inoculate logs with. I also have lion's mane, shiitake and hen of the woods. So I've got a busy few days ahead doing mushroom logs whenever I get a spare 5 minutes. Guys, I'm sorry I forgot to sign off the video yesterday, but this is the next day. It's sunny. My mum's here. I'm showing her around the garden and all the little things that are growing now. But I just want to say thank you for watching. Please don't forget to get the copy of my new cookbook if you're into growing food, if you want to start growing food, if you want to start cooking food. It's got a bit of everything. Now is your opportunity to get into growing. Sow some seeds this year. It'll be a passion that will take over your life for the better, and it will help you reconnect with what it means to be human like it has with me. See you soon. Come on.